The following video was pre-recorded on twitch.tv/codedman9000. More information on the stream times at the end of the video. Death. Something the citizens of Shady Acres knows too well. Due to an unknown disease rapidly progressed by the city's expansion rate, and left with nothing else to do, the citizens take to the streets. They rush to the transportation center to take buses to the Chirp X Space Center. Large lines queue for the citizens' chance to escape the planet. The Chirp X Space Center, the last hope, is a place housing the space rocketing program. The city's survival, or even the planet's survival, relies on the Chirp X's Kerbal Space Program to teach us how to fly across the stars. With the help of SpaceX Kerbal Space Program, we will first learn how to fly a rocket. Next, we will learn how to fly in lower planet orbit before continuing to full planet orbit. After learning orbit travel, we only have one more thing to do: space travel. Hello and welcome to a Twitch Plays Along series called Stone to Space. Today we're in Chapter 3, Space Travel. Today we are playing Kerbal Space Program. Anyway, what we have going on in the game is that we are creating a space station. So if I go over to it, this is our current space station. We have our main command module, which we put together ourselves. There is a part that you can unlock through science that allows you to connect things in, and it's a lot smaller than this. It looks better. So what we did is we put fuel canisters here, we emptied them out, and then we rotated a bunch of others, so there are 5 connection points. In the last stream, we put the science wing and the electrical and antenna wing on here, and then the stream before that, or 2 streams before that, we had put the main thruster. So this is going to be capable of flying through space. And we have 3 Kerbals here. We have 2 astronauts. No, we have 2 scientists. And then 1 pilot, who is Jebediah Kerman. Our 2 scientists are currently in here, working away, making us some science using the data that we got from using the other science machines. And every day around Kerbin, they will make 2.5 science. So we do have the ability to make this faster by adding more of these modules onto here, and then adding more scientists to those modules. But we're not going to worry about that for now. What I want to make sure is that we are locked onto this purplish pink triangle, so I'm going to click this. Good luck, Gino, on catching the barnacle. And what we have left to bring up here is 2 things. We're going to be doing a few trips just to mess around with who's currently at the station at all times. We're leaving the 2 scientists. We're coming back to save Jebediah. And then we're going to use Jebediah to come back here. So we're taking him home to come back with him. It may not make sense, but once I explain it better than that, it should make sense. So we have 2 things to connect to this. We have a fuel booster, not fuel booster, a refuel station. So pretty much we send the rocket out into space. Once that connects to the station, it gives us more fuel. And then we should be able to keep bringing more fuel from the planet out to wherever the station is. And that should just, give us more fuel over time. We can disconnect it, we can leave it in space, and then bring a new one over. The other thing is our Space Shuttle, because obviously we're going to want a way to get into this and get home. So that's why there's 2 extra ports. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our secondary pilot, which is Valentina Kerman, to come get Jebediah. Then we're going to bring Jebediah home to our plane here, which our station is like right here. So we're almost directly above where we launch from. And when we take him home, we're going to use Jebediah to bring the refuel station up here and have that connect in. Jebediah's going to stay here forever. And then we're going to use Valentina to bring up the Space Shuttle, and that's going to connect into here. And then we are going to fast forward around the planet until we complete all of the science, or all this data into science. And then we should be able to just send it using our antennas, because we should have good enough antennas to not lose anything. But anyway, Let me check one thing before we get started. What? Oh, I see. Okay. I'm gonna close Discord so I don't get distracted again. Give me just one more second. There we go. Alright, so on to what we are going to be doing. We need to go to our SPH, which is a space plane hangar. Oh, no. That's not what I want. We want to go to the VAB, our Vehicle Assembly Building, and we are going to launch the Space Shuttle rocket. But what I think I wanted to do before we use that again, I know I'm going back and forth from the buildings, we're actually going to go back to the spaceplane hangar, because I need to find out how to make the plane drop evenly down. We found out when we tried saving ourselves last time that we were very back heavy, so the rockets were going, or the back end was going downwards and were inclined on an angle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 4 more of these onto here. Is this not the fuel? No, that's not fuel. That's why this looks a little weird. I want two-way symmetry. And we're just going to put a bunch of these on. And then the next thing I want to do is bring these forward more. They're not going to have to get out of the plane, but I might as well try to leave a spot for them to get out. And then having more back here should allow us to stay flat. Hopefully. So let's fly this to see if it works. And if it does, we'll do the same changes on the rocket so that we don't have to save this as a new subassembly. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Valentina and Bill. And we're going to fly this into the air. And then we are going to stage the parachutes. If I zoom out, it won't be too loud in my ears. So I'm purposely trying to go up as high as we can with our rockets. And then we're pretty much going to do a crash land and come back down. Whoa, this spins very quickly around. Wasn't expecting that. Okay. Have fun lurking, Gino. Are we gonna do this thing where we lose control easily? Yeah, it looks like that. Okay. Alright, so we really do not get control here. So what I'm gonna do is turn all these off. Should probably stage one parachute. This parachute system saves us from speeding up as we're going down. And then the next stage should pop out when we get to 2 kilometers. And that should pop out every one of these. So right now we're taking a nosedive, but we're slowing down as we're doing it. And this is for when we're re-entering after we stop overheating. We'll stage to this. There goes the rest of the parachutes. And if we're lucky... Oh, I see what's going on. So the parachutes at the front is the issue, not the back. We want to bring these further back. Let's redeploy to here. I want to get rid of these. And I think they were right here. Maybe I need to put it around the center of mass equally. That might make sense. So if I bring them to here and here, which I can't because of this being a thing that I can open. It's a cargo bay. So what I'm gonna do instead is bring these further back. I'm putting them right about here. I'm gonna bring these in to match them. And then this might work better. Alright, let's save this and do the same launch. And this time I'm gonna try to get us to land on ground somewhere. Why do we lose control so easily? Oh, jeez. I don't know what's going on with this plane. If I just get us to shoot upwards, that'll be fine. So right now, I'm fighting it going straight up. I'm trying to pull us down a little bit. Whether or not this is going to work out, I have no idea. We are slowing down, even though we have... Oh, we don't have those rockets going. Okay. So if I just stage to the next part, that'll slow us down. I'll start turning off all the engines. That way it's not too loud for everyone. And the other parachutes should come out whenever they're ready, which should be right about now. Now, will you go down evenly? No. We are better going down at this point. But we're not going down flat. What if I have just one in the front? Or just two? You would think that having these parachutes back here would bring it up more. Alright, let's cut off two from the front. Because I can't put them on this middle piece here. And this time we're just going to go straight up. I should probably make an action group to turn off all the engines, so let's go back one more second. Because if I do it in here and then save, it'll save everything. That's Clampatron. This is... Oh, toggle the engine. Okay, that's on there. But we want one for these as well. Okay. Save that. Start again. Start all of our stages. I'm gonna try to pull out here a little bit. If I do it slow, it doesn't seem like we're losing control as much. I think I have to stay with prograde in order to not lose control, which kind of makes sense to us. Alright, from here on, we should be able to go almost straight up. And I lost control. Alright, at least prograde is with us. I'm trying to get it to go the right direction that I want it to be in. But it looks like we're just gonna have to stage from right here. So if I go in here, we press 2 and 3. Turn off all of our engines. How does this make us fall down? Now we're back heavy, or front heavy. So maybe I only need 3 in the front? What if I were to cut these? Because we tried cutting them before. When we used this the first time. Can't see them. There we go. So, does this give us any extra change? No, it doesn't seem like it. Okay, so it looks like we need 3 in the front, 4 in the back. So if I just come in here, we grab one of these, and we just stick it right in the center. We try this again. This time I'm not going to turn around to go into the land, we'll just go straight up. You know, I'm gonna turn off the plane engines. Just to see if we get a longer fuel source by doing that. Or a longer burn time, it should be. Should be breaking the sound barrier pretty soon. Maybe not. Alright, we have gone up pretty far, so I'm just going to turn off here. Cut the parachutes. And we will aim ourselves downwards. Alright, from here on, I'm going to just turn SAS off and we fall however we fall. Maybe not. Maybe we do want this on. Should be okay, we should still fall down the same way. No? We're going to flip back over to where prograde is? Or are we just going to do weird somersaults? Barrel rolls, maybe. Come on, stop spinning. If you do a nosedive, this would fall easier. I'm trying to get us to face downwards, but we're really facing upwards. I think it's because the engines are heavier than the rest. Eventually, we'll flip over. Because these parachutes should start capturing more wind at some point. There we go. And now we face downwards. I should probably make an action group to cut all the parachutes when we get to a certain spot. Oh, and I can make us glide. Look at that. I didn't know I'd have any control over it. Can I, like, pull us to the right? Use the parachutes as a way to get us over to the land? Now that I have a little bit of control. It looks like I can. That's pretty neat. Wasn't expecting that. So right now I am pulling up on the plane and trying to get us to stay flat, but it's not going to work out that way. In a little bit we should have the rest of the parachutes opening up. Is it because I'm pulling up that we're not going as fast as I would normally? So I just point with prograde. Alright, now, do we go down flat this time? No, we're still back heavy. This is weird. We were front heavy now. I mean, we were back heavy, now we're front heavy. I cut one single parachute. We start spinning because the air resistance is weird. And then if I start cutting all of these, they shouldn't really do anything other than slow us down. Then why does 4 parachutes in the front and the back not work like this? I don't get it, but we're gonna try it. So if I move the tail fin back a little bit to make us a little bit more room in the front there. We move you to the middle. I want to know if this is going to be any good. For action groups, I am going to set up a 4th one to cut all of these. Save that. Start. See if this makes us land flatter. I staged all the way to these being turned on, and then I just turned them off. Alright, let's go as straight up as we can. I'm gonna go to about a height of 3,000 meters. Which would be about right here. And for right now, I'm going to lock on prograde so that we bring it down as we're going up. And right about now, stage those parachutes. And then when we're within our, height of 2,000 meters, the others should turn on. And we'll get to see if we start landing flat. Let's speed up. There's the parachutes. Now that they are deployed, I'm going to press 4 and break off the red chutes in the back. And we still seem to be back heavy now that they're equal. So maybe I want this one here. Or to spread these out in a line, maybe? Would it make sense for me to put them spread apart that far? I don't know. Let's try one more. Put it right here. I want to try these spread out as well. So if I put that there, this here, and then one more here. That should still be the same. If anything, it's spread out a little bit better. Let's try one more time. All right, and straight up. Once we get to 2,000 meters, I'm going to cut the engine. There we go. Lock on prograde so that we start going down as we're going up. And pull the other parachutes out. This time I'm not gonna, yeah, I am gonna speed up, actually. We're a distance away from the height I want to be at. There we go. So yeah, parachutes come out now. I'm gonna cut the red ones, and we'll see how this levels out. That looks perfect. Even going off of this, we're a little bit bobbing up and down on the line. I don't care that we're spinning. So if I turn SAS off, we should stop spinning. And then this is how we're going to continue falling. A little bit above being flat in the front. So if anything, we could bring this back a little bit, maybe. Bring these closer, like touching each other. Let's try that. And then that'll be the last one, because this is already perfect. And then since we changed this so many times with the parachutes, we are actually going to save this as a sub-assembly and put it on the rocket. Or if it works better this way, I might as well just change it on the rocket. Alright, lift off. And straight up, as much as I can. This time I'm gonna cut the gas earlier than last time. And parachutes now. so that we don't have to wait as long. The other parachute should be popping out in any second now. We'll flip upwards, then we'll flip back down. I can cut the red ones. Does this get us to level out easier? If I turn SAS off, it'll stop trying to correct itself. We are always going to bob up and down a little bit. That's fine. And this looks a little bit more how I wanted to be. I want a little bit of a nosedive, not really a backup, back end dive. If I put the landing gears on and we speed up time, I want to see how the wheels do with this amount of speed, because we're doing about 10 meters per second. We are going to land on water, or on land, so I might as well put the brakes on so we don't go too far. And the parachute should disappear once we touch the ground. Okay, we're at 300 meters. I should probably be looking at land. Let's stop there with speeding. And touchdown, we land. So that wasn't too bad. So this time, we can recover the vessel instead. Alright, so the action groups we did. We added an action group for the engines and cutting off the red parachutes, and then we also moved the blue parachutes. So we have to do those three things on here. So if I just go all the way down to the bottom, we should have Space Shuttle launcher. And then we have these two. I could probably start deleting some of these. Anyway. We get this open. We're gonna go in here. Change how these look. So I want one of these in the center, and I want to move this out of the way. And then I want these to move in more. Like that. I want to go up here and take these off symmetrical and just put them in a line. Just like that. Action groups. One is for the cargo bay to connect it to the space station. Two is to turn off the back engines. We actually don't need this because they are going to turn off on themselves when they get to a certain amount of fuel used. So what I'm going to do instead is toggle these engines. And then 3 would be for cutting these off. Save that. We're gonna look to see who we have in here. I do not need everyone in here, so we're gonna take Bill out of here. And we're just gonna launch with Valentina. We didn't change anything else on this other than, you know, the parachutes. I'm gonna save that again. We're gonna fly this out to the space station and pick up Jebediah. Alright, everything is set up correctly. Everything over here should be set up correctly. So we have our 2 boosters. We stage, turn on the middle booster, we break off the 2 side boosters. Then we get into space, we break off the fairing, and then we turn on those 2 thrusters and break off the plane from this when we get into a capture of the space station. when we come down, we turn on these engines and start the parachutes to slow us down. We then also have the other parachutes in a separate stage. Probably should have had them all on the same stage, maybe? No, they're probably better off being staged differently. The engines, on the other hand, could have been on their own stage. But anyway, we're going to keep it just like this. Let's take off and get us up to the space station. We've done this enough times to get to the space station that we should be able to get there very quickly and easily with no issues. I am slowly starting to pull us to the right so that we go eastwards. And I'm just tapping the keyboard every now and then to try and turn us with prograde. We're going to stay right here for a moment and start going back more. And every now and then I'm correcting for our heading because it's pulling us more north as I'm going. So occasionally I'm pulling upwards so that it goes back to the east line. And right here we're going to wait until these boosters go off, and then we should be very close to being in orbit. We'll have to use this booster a little bit, as far as I can remember. But doing our ascent this way should save us on fuel. Alright, here goes the boosters. Oh, that one hit us. Not sure why. Maybe it was the wing that we added to it. That would make sense in a way. Alright, we're at 65 kilometers on our max height. I'm gonna go to about 75 and then cut it. And then we'll go out here just to get a decent circular orbit. Oops, that's not what I want to do. Okay, turn this off. Prograde until we get into positive numbers. That's 75 in the positive. Let's turn this back down so that our highest point doesn't go up too high. 72 and 78 seems pretty good. Let's lock on the maneuver before we get there. Now, why are there so many different pieces? I'm a little confused on that. And some of these are coming all the way up to 46 kilometers on that one. Alright, we're almost on the maneuver, and by the time we get there, we're going to be within 10 seconds, so I'm not going to speed up time. Nope. Took us a moment to get back to the time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Full throttle. We have about a 1 minute burn. And I'm pretty much just going to make sure that our periapsis goes up to 73. Not really going to be working on or looking at the burn time for this. Alright, we're above negative 400. Now we're above negative 300. Now negative 200. Now negative 100, and we're climbing up very quickly, so I'm going to slow us down at this point. And keep slowing us down because we are in the positive numbers now. It's 30 kilometers high, 40, 50, 60, 74, and 79. I'm okay with that. So now we are in space and orbiting. So I'm going to do a hard save here. We're going to delete some of our other quick saves while we're doing this, because we don't need this many. We're going to go over to 30. And then at some point in the future, we'll delete the last 3 or 4. That's 29 and 30. So this is the save that we're currently on. Persistent is what you're playing. So you load this save and then it becomes persistent. And we have 4 more saves to delete later on. But what we're going to do here is save this as Space Shuttle in orbit. I'm going to save that, and now we're going to do our incline change. So I want to set this as target. We're going to come over here, we're going to click on this button, and we're going to come over here and click on this one just in case that one of them hides compared to the other. And I am going to put a maneuver node right here, and we are going to go anti-normal. No, we're going to go normal to try and make that negative 2.4 become a 0. So that is a positive 0.1. That is a 0. So that's what we're going to do. Lock on the maneuver. We can, at this point, go to a rocket and stage the fairing to delete, because now we should spin easier. I'm going to go back out to here. We're going to go over here and make sure to right-click on that node again. And this is pretty much the difference in our incline compared to this orbit of the Space Center. Is maybe 50 kilometers of difference in height? Not sure. We're on the maneuver now, pretty much. So I'm going to click this button to fast forward within a minute of the maneuver node. And then we're going to fast forward to within 10 seconds. And it is a 3-second burn, so I'm actually going to burn starting at 5 seconds. Because we're going to do a small throttle instead. So I'm just giving it a little bit of burst of throttle. Try and change the time a little bit. We could also just turn down the thrust limiter, and that would also do the same thing. 8, 2, 1, and 0. So there we go. Now, what is our incline? It is a 1/10 of a degree off. I'm fine with that. Next thing we're going to do is find out where we want to put this maneuver to where that we could reach the space station. So I like to start off with putting the maneuver away from the station so that when we add height, we go this way. Now I know this isn't going to line up with the space station right away, because we almost do a full orbit, so that means space station's probably going to be over here. And the max height is almost where we need it. That's a little too little change. That is very close to a capture there. This is closer to a capture than we had before. So if I just move this around, we're trying to get this orange marker and that orange marker as close as we can. If I click on this, in the middle is our separation distance. And when we get close enough, we should see a second number pop up being speed. We now have relative speed compared to it. So if I just turn this down, we keep going this way. We should get that number to being very close together. Slicky, you came in just in time. We are going to have a break in a few seconds. And when we come back to it, that's when I'm going to get the mug for you. In the meantime, let's figure out which way I need to move this so that the numbers get smaller. That is getting smaller, but I feel like I can just do something else and it would get even smaller. Nope. About Community Day. Community Day is only going to be tomorrow. Okay, so that's not changing it. The only thing that is changing, I guess, would be the time. No, that'll be it. All right, we are now in ads, so I will be right back after the ad break. And we're back. Okay, Slicky. So, since you have done the numbers for the mug, 21, 22, and now 20, you have successfully done every one of the 3 Christmas mugs. So we had a mug that was Rudolph inspired, then we had a mug set of 4 gingerbread houses. Now we have a Christmas tree, and it has a lid. So this is the mug, this is just the lid. It's kind of like a cookie jar. And I am going to use this for the rest of the stream. So, the other 2 holiday-related mugs are more of autumn and Halloween. I have one mug that is a pumpkin, and then I have another mug that has pumpkins on it. That would be 19 and 18, in case you're doing the last 5 mugs specifically. Right. I was just checking to see if she's done feeding the kittens. Yeah, just in case TSG is still here. Let's see if she wants them. Mama! Mama! Here you are. Want some of these? Come on, over here. Come on. Here you go, TSG. I'm just playing some ATS with head tracking at the moment. What is ATS? I don't know the acronym. So this is Mama. Again, that's not her official name, although it's... Oh, American Truck Simulator. That makes sense. I've never played the game, so I never saw the words as an acronym. She's probably going to end up being just called that name, Mama. I do keep forgetting to make a redeem for you guys to be able to name the cats. So if we go to name the kittens, one of them already has a name because that's going to be the one that I'm keeping. That's going to be called Glammeow. It looks like the Pokemon, Glammeow. And I guess we'll allow names for the other 6, so including her, the mom, and the other 5, so long as my mom also likes the name. Because it's not just my cat. You have to also impress my mom as well. Or else she won't call it that, and then it'll be confused with 2 names. So, we're gonna get back into here. I did almost forget to pause the game when we were on a break. I got up to go use the restroom and realized the music was still running. Why is the music still running? Next thing I know, I look over and we're still playing the game. So if we resume flight now, we are going to do another hard save at this point. And we're going to call it the same thing. Space Shuttle in orbit. I know I could just do this first and then do the hard save instead of doing 2 hard saves. Oh no, this just seems like the right way to do it for some reason. So, if we go ahead and lock on the maneuver, we're pretty much going to do a full orbit before we get to taking off. We're going to use our rocket to get into this orbit, which all I have to do is focus on the apoapsis here and make sure that it matches this one, which is 795.5 kilometers. All right, that's close enough to start our fast forward. We should be able to get to that within a minute. And this is us getting within the 2 markers. So, let's fast forward within 10 seconds. We only have to burn off 30 seconds. And we're going to do this burn full throttle. Just keeping an eye on the highest point. Alright, now we're almost at 600 kilometers. We're now above 600. So I'm going to throttle down. That's 720, 730, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 95. Yep, we might be a little bit shy or a little bit over. I don't know which one is which. But that is good enough for me. Now, we are now going to fast forward until we are way over here. And what I want to do is lock on target. And switch this to the target. So we are seeing our relative speed compared to the space center, or space station. I want to call it space center for some reason. Alright, so if I go to break off, what I want to do is save this for later. Right. So we're going to bring it all the way out to here. And at some point we should see our space station. I did just do F4. So when we get close enough, we should see it pop up, and it should be coming from this direction. There it is. So that is the space station. And we want to get an awful lot closer. So if I just warp to here, we want to look retrograde compared to the target. Because that will bring our 2 orbits together. And this is going a little too slow, so I'm going to turn RCS on to get us over there a little bit quicker. What is our distance away from each other? About 2 kilometers. And we're getting a little too close to this point for my liking, so I'm just gonna throttle now. And quick burst. Alright, that's pretty much no speed compared to the space station. I am okay with this. It's 3 meters away. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go like this. And I want to look prograde on us. But I think, honestly, just the way that we're facing is good enough. So if I stage off the engineer, or the plane, we'll turn on the lights so we can see where we're going. This should just ever so slowly creep out. We no longer have this set as our target. So let's set it as a target again. And then we're going to go to this guy. And we're just going to turn it away from the plane. Oh, here's retrograde. Actually, we want to go into orbit and retrograde that way. And it doesn't matter if this goes correctly into it, so I'm just going to do throttle now. There goes our plane. We are now captured by the planet. I'm just going to burn all the fuel. That's the space station. Still don't remember how to change the name of it. Alright, that should be going straight down at some point. I just go out here and I right click on this, not left click, switch to. We are now going to do our best to aim for this. So I am going to turn SAS, no. We just want to be looking at the target first. Welcome in, Fapple, and congrats on getting first today. I'm surprised that Gino gave that to you. Alright, and in terms of what counts as up, I'm just going to turn the plane to looking at the station correctly. Because I know, compared to the planet, we're not facing away from it. And we are going to get prograde over here. And to do that, I'm going to get RCS on. And we're going to pretty much play in docking mode for the time being. So I'm just going to bring this vector here into the pink. And if I slow down, the vector will change faster. Actually, it's going the wrong way. So if I speed up, it should go faster, which it is. Weather's beautiful this morning, just sipping my coffee on the patio until hell temps resume. That is pretty much the same here. It's a little chilly outside, but it's doing good. Feeling good, I mean. Alright. I think we need to go faster to get this over a little bit better. Get this up. I'm trying to get it as centered on this as I can. We are almost in the vector. So at this point, I'm just gonna... I guess I do need to speed up and pull it to the left as the same thing. Alright, so now we're just gonna speed up. There's a Hoot Hoot in chat if anyone wants a Gen 2 Pokemon that's an owl. Once we get to 3 meters per second, I'm going to start speeding up time until we get closer. Welcome in, Glow! How are you today? Speed up time until we get close enough to it. And you did my walk on for Willow's channel. Alright, space station is right there. We're gonna play around and get prograde over there again. Actually, I think if I slow down, it'll do more. You're doing great. I'm also doing okay. You're doing quite some advanced stuff in KSP. Why, thank you. It has not been easy. This is like our 6th mission up to the space station. Now we're doing kind of a rescue mission. There's nothing really wrong with the space station. We're just taking one person from here and bringing him back to the planet. We are taking Jebediah home. And I am attempting to slow us down, but I don't think that's working. Welcome in, Slicky. Yes, you are going home. Okay, in terms of it going past us, it is slowing down, at least. So I think I'm keeping prograde with us, somewhat. I mean, we're not going towards it, so we are still changing compared to where it's going. If I pull up, that should be helping us. It is starting to slow down and become stagnant. We are slowing down as I'm doing this, so that's good. Can I go up a little bit instead? Maybe try to slow us down using this. Oh, that's not slowing us down. Alright, right now we're just going to go like this. I catch up on track, you guys said a bunch of things. It is not meant to be easy, it is meant to teach you rather realistic orbital physics. That's true. Not while you're Slicky. Shower first before landing. With close maneuvers like that, I learned speed up time is greater than speeding up the rockets. That's true. That's what I've been doing. The only issue is once you get too close, trying to slow down, you have to find the sweet spot. And it seems like 500 meters away from the space station is when I want to get out of speeding up and slow us down, and then go back and forth by speeding us up. Believe me, out of the two options, Slicky is the better one. Alright, so what I think I want to do is speed up in this direction, going towards the station. It is slowing us down, but the number is going higher, so we're really going away from the rocket in a way. And this should be moving the prograde vector over here. I can see retrograde is disappearing. If I do a little bit of a left push or a right push, that should move things faster. I could do a quick burst of rocket boost to get us there, but at the same time I don't want to be going too fast when we get there. We are almost above the desert biome. Alright, that should be enough going to the left. I can see prograde is coming back. It is super helpful with maneuvers like that. Do you know how to limit the burst? Yes. When you right click on it, oh, I have this on numerical. There we go. Now I have the thrust limiter bar. I was looking at it like, why does that not look right? Anyway, let's keep pushing us to the station. Actually, we are starting to speed up now. So I want to slow us down again. Because I think we're going to go past the station. We are gonna go past the station. Okay, this is not what I wanted to do. And it seems like no matter what I'm doing, this is going past us. We are starting to slow down. Is there a way that I can slow us down by going a different direction than just forwards? Doesn't seem like it, so I really do have to... Well, that's caps lock. I really do have to just burn towards it to try and slow us down, which I think is odd. So we've almost slowed down enough to be within 1 meter per second. We do have a lot of monopropellant, so we're fine on that. I can see prograde starting to appear right here. Alright, now that we have prograde, can I pull it to us without messing up anything? We are starting to slow down, so whatever I'm doing right now is helping us slow down. I'm going to start pulling up as well to try and get this to come up here as it's coming over. It is slowly coming over. When we get to a certain speed, it should move over a lot faster. Alright, we're almost up enough. So it should just be matching to the right, in a way. I don't know how else to explain it with the weird space directions. Alright, that's pretty much high as much as we want. I just want to bring this in now. And now I'm just going to bring it in. Alright, that is locked on now. If I aim at this for a moment, we are going to... Oh, we're too far away. Where is the plane compared to where we are? Where the station is, I mean. Hello? I don't see the plane at all. Should be visible out here somewhere. I do not know, so what I'm gonna do... Oh, there it is. It's right here, where the cursor is. We are going to speed up in this view until I can set this as a target. And this number is the distance that the plane is away, so it doesn't matter what we're looking at as we get over here. That's a cool looking space station. Thank you. It's my first attempt at one. There is a button to switch between crafts if they're less than 2 kilometers away. That's true. I just, I'm trying to make it so that I can... No, what I'm doing is going to do the same thing. I don't know why I'm doing it this way then. I think it's just because I'm only going to be here temporarily. The moment that I can set this as a target, we will stop fast forward, or stop this view. The plane is right there now. Let's get prograde back to where it should be, and then we'll fast forward again. As we get closer, we're going to have to do a specific maneuver to get to the right orientation with this. Alright, that is on there. How are you? We're going to pin this. At some point, that's going to pop up with a third button that I can click on to set that as a target, but we're too far away. Let's fast forward again. I think it's when we get within 100 meters. That is within 100, and there's the target. Let's bring prograde back over here. And then we'll change the target. I am not really on the target maneuver. So I don't really know what we're targeting. Alright, I think at this point we are just close enough to the station that it's not going to pop up with prograde. So what I want to do from here on is get pretty close to it, doing a certain orientation as well. So I want to go to the right. I'm trying to get prograde to show up on here somewhere over here. You know what? That works. Seeing it on the right side is the same thing. I just had my directions backwards. So what this is going to hopefully do is get us to be in front of the node there. And then at some point we're going to have to rotate and slow us down. So I'm speeding up time right now because we're going 0.1 meters per second. And if we stop for a second, we should orientate back facing it. I'm going to bring prograde back over. And we'll fast forward again. And I want to get to the point where we are pointing directly at that. If we stop for a second, we point back to it. We want to go up a little bit. Right here is the docking point. So I want to get this part of the plane pretty much up to here. Right now we're kind of below the thruster. I want to get the middle point of the plane up here before I open it. So I need to figure out what way counts as up for this. I think this counts as going up. So we should see, keeping the station in this view, that it's starting to go towards the plane. While watching your approach, I started wondering, when a spacecraft tries to dock with the International Space Station, does the ISS stay stationary, or does it rotate to help docking? I think it has too many parts that it wouldn't really rotate to help someone dock to it. It should be relatively stationary within its orbit, that it's not like spinning in a circle. Like if you take the what's the movie? I'm forgetting what it's called. There's a movie where they go near a black hole and land on a planet. A lot of people say that it's a good science movie where it actually shows Interstellar. Yes, that's the one. In Interstellar, they do rotate their ship to match the uncontrolling ship that he had. And that's, I think, the only time that you would have to do it. If you can't control one ship, you rotate the other one to match it. So, what is the correct answer, Glow? Since you know the actual answer. Does the space station rotate in any way to help someone dock to it? Okay, at this point, I think we are close enough to open this and set this to being the target. Or at the control point. Got my answer from AI. I think it is reasonable. Yes, ISS does help by rotating. It makes docking a little more safer. Also, the ISS has thrusters anyways, as it constantly needs to increase its orbit back to the safe zone. Oh, really? I didn't know that it falls out of the space zone, or safe zone. That's pretty neat. I thought when things go in orbit, they are always in orbit and they don't get closer over time. But I mean, I guess it makes sense. We are going to control from here. It's going to change the node point. And what I want to do from here is turn off docking mode and rotate the plane. I want the nose pointing up because I think that's the better point for us docking wise. Alright, that should be how I want it. Let's go back into docking mode. And need to figure out how we're going to get to it. If I go like this, we are moving retrograde away. So we should start seeing prograde pop up right here. Yep. I don't want to go too fast, but I do want to bring prograde over. Let's get a little bit faster. There's prograde. So maybe prograde disappears when we're going a specific speed in relation to the space station. Right. The thing that KSP does not show realistically is that our atmosphere doesn't end. That's true. The moon is basically still in the Earth's atmosphere and has a decimal point I can't say. Or is that oxygen atoms from us? An atmosphere even in low quantity. Yeah, I thought that was the next one for some reason. I thought that was a 0 instead of O. All that atmosphere, even in low quantities, can cause to lose speed and drift closer to Earth over time. Oh. That I didn't know. You have to get really far away to be safe, but no human ever left the Earth's atmosphere, technically speaking. Oh, that is actually a 0? I thought it was just my eyes. I wasn't trying to mess with you or anything. Alright, there goes the mug and my crown. So. We are going to keep messing around with our speed. Let's speed up time. And then we'll fix the maneuver. We should be doing okay in terms of how we're approaching. I can't see the number because of how bright our plane is making the space station. I think that's 40 something. Alright, let's correct it. Right, speed up time again. That's definitely 34 kilometers. That's 25. Now we're in the teens. Let's readjust again. And keep going. I can see that there's 2 digits, I just can't see what number it is. Okay, that's single digits now. That's 8, 7. I'm gonna no longer speed up time as we're approaching. That's 6.8. Now I can actually see the number. And we should be doing a pretty much straightforward approach. This might be the best approach we've done. It was a little off. We're gonna have a little bit of moving around. But look at this. Alright, we are going to control from here and make sure that we are in a normal vector. There is a term called parking orbit, which is used in rocketry. If you stay in that orbit, you're gonna burn up within a few days. But it is good enough for further controlled burns within a few minutes or hours. Even the Apollo missions used park orbits. Congratulations! Thank you, Glow! So now what we are going to do is move a bunch of people around. We should be able to put 2 people in here. So if I find where Jebediah is, because he's in here somewhere, I think I put him in this pod. He definitely is in there. I can put 2 people in the cockpit. So that's what they're going to be. Alright, now it's time to just disconnect and take this guy home. So we have to disconnect from the space station part. He's like, cockpit. Alright, Glow. Whatever. And we are going away. Also, I want to switch to the plane and control from here. Or no, I want to control from here. And if I set that as a target again, I want to go away from it. I just lock on it again. There we go. We are now going retrograde compared to the space station, which is what I wanted. I'm just going far enough that when we go to rotate retrograde compared to orbit, that we will be far enough away from the station and we won't bump into it, because we have done that before. Alright. If I just kill our speed... We're going to do a hard save. I want to stay with the space station during the hard save, so that if we need to go back to it, we have the ability to do so. So I'm just going until this seems like it's not moving anymore. That seems like it's not moving. So I'm going to unset that. We're at orbit. Let's point retrograde. Apparently that's retrograde in orbit that we're going in. Which I don't think is correct. But I guess it is. Anyway, we are going to do that hard save. Space Shuttle pre-re-entry. And now, for some reason, one of our thrusters is not turned on. There we go. That was weird. Alright, let's take him home. Whoa. What's going on here? Oh, I'm not looking at the right thing. I was still controlling from the docking port. That's why our control went all over the place. That makes sense why I didn't go aiming directly at the space station when I put us in retrograde. Anyway, now we can actually do this the correct way. I'm going to turn off docking mode because we don't need that anymore. We also don't need RCS. Now let's burn retrograde. I'm just focusing on our lowest point here. I'm gonna get it to about 40 kilometers high. Okay, that's 65 if I do slow burns. Should probably look at this view. We can just look at this instead. Quick question, your next stage includes parachutes and thrusters. Is that a bug, right? No, it's not a bug. That is the airplane thrusters, so that when we get into the atmosphere, I'm hoping that we can turn on those use those thrusters so that we can slow down our ascent a little bit along with the parachutes. These parachutes here only slow us down. They do not catch us and keep us safe. That's what this whole stage is for. This is the one that actually saves us from crashing. These just slow us down. So this whole entire stage here is just a little bit of extra help slowing us down. But do you really want to turn on thrusters and parachutes at the same time? Probably not. I mean, these aren't going to deploy right away anyway. Anyway, we are going to go to about right here. Don't know if that is the height I want to be at, but we're going to try it anyway. You can still rearrange stages. I know. We might not even use the engines. Wait, what height are we at? We are at 74. This is good enough to speed up in this view. I do want to rotate the sphere so that we are in relation to the surface. So let's go into service mode here. Now we can get to see our speed as we re-enter. In terms of using our parachutes, I probably should be facing prograde. I'm just thinking on if we should use our thrusters or wait until later. I think I'm going to wait until we actually get into the kilometer height that we were at. So I'm purposely pointing downwards to try and burn some of the heat away by giving it more surface area to burn from. Or to heat up, I mean. So if I just keep pulling down from prograde, we should be doing okay. And I'm going to get ready to start burning our fuel. It definitely is helping with heat. As we go to a flat on prograde, it heats up a little bit more. We're bobbing up and down a little bit, that's fine. Right, we're getting pretty close to 40 kilometers. At some point, I am going to lose control of the plane, and at that point, we're not going to worry about it. I'm also not staging because the parachutes here are red. Although I could stage and eventually they won't be red anymore. What is our lowest height going to be? Oh, it's apparently going up. Alright, so if I just let this go to retrograde, we are going to do full throttle. I tried pulling retrograde up a little bit. Alright, that is a capture right there. So long as these engines are going, we should be able to stay in control, but the moment that these shut off, we're not going to have enough thrust, even with these on. Even though they're not on right now. I should probably turn them on. They will help us, at least, if they were working. There we go, now they're on. Or they should be. But they're not. Is this that weird bug again where it says that I don't have fuel, but I do have the fuel? And that turns on and off these engines. Why don't they turn on? Because this has all the fuel it needs. I know this engine uses the same fuel, but it shouldn't really be doing anything to it. I don't know. I do kind of want to turn this around prograde so that when the parachutes in the back pop out, that they slow us down. But it looks like I'm kind of forced to fall retrograde. So I'll put this to lock back on that maneuver. Eventually, we will stop spinning out of control. And it'll even slow us down more when the parachutes come out. With losing control, I mean. We will be at some point doing a nosedive. Alright, it is rotating counterclockwise. So if I hold left, it should slow down the spinning of the plane. The out of control part won't stop, but the spinning should. There's the parachutes to slow us down. I am going to toggle off those engines again. Honestly, not quite sure what you're doing. Also not used to using planes. Usually I have an ablator at this point. I don't know what that is. Yeah, spinning out of control was good for the heat, that's for sure. Alright, it is locked on retrograde. So SES was trying to help us not do a nosedive. But now we are. Once these fully deploy, I'll stage the next ones. Actually, I could stage all of them now. These won't deploy until we are within 200 kilometers, or 2 kilometers. Not 200. And that's once those other parachutes deploy, we're going to be cutting these off because it helps the plane land flat. Because the last time we did this, we did the opposite type of dive, where the engines were going down first, and I was very afraid that the engines were going to explode and cause us to crash. Luckily, we slowed down enough that we didn't do that, but I was still worried about it. What is going on here? Alright, they just got fully deployed. If I just turn SAS off at this point, we don't really need it. We have the parachutes, they'll turn us the correct way. The other parachutes that are going to deploy at 2 kilometers are going to flatten us out so that we go belly down into the water. Ablator is a material that is supposed to burn down during re-entry. I think in KSP parts there are called... Yeah, the heat shield. Okay, I was thinking that as I was reading that. It is called a heat shield. Just never seen turned on rockets during re-entry. It's not turned on, it just gets heated up, and they don't really get destroyed in this game. You would think that over time, as it's decreasing or going down into the atmosphere, it would burn up some of its material as it would IRL. But it doesn't really do that in the game. There go the other parachutes. So I'm going to press 3, and that cuts off the red ones. The red ones being on with these make us not fall flat down. So this should be relatively flat. It will do some bobbing up and down, and it should flatten out. It looks like it's staying here at the 10 degrees facing up. That's not what it did the last time we tested it out, but that doesn't matter, it's okay. So I'm going to fast forward until we touch down. This will be a safe approach. It's only 10 meters per second, which does seem a lot. All right, we are now within 600 meters from touching down. When we get to about 50, I'll turn off fast forwarding. There we go. And safe touchdown. And that is what I wanted. I wanted us to be able to do this, so if we were landing on land, also the engines broke off. I wanted to do it this way so that if we landed on land, I could put the landing gears out. And the landing gears would save us from, you know, being too fast like we were just now. So, we now have Jebediah back home. And we're going to be using him right away. Also, I took a look at our announcements that happen every hour and 2 hours. And I think Firebot is not capable of doing 2 announcements at the same point in time. So I have 2 announcements that are set up for 1 hour increments and another 2 set up for 2 hour increments. And I've only seen 1 announcement out of all 4 of those that line up every 2 hours. I've only seen 1 announcement go out. So I tried setting them to being a half a second apart from each other when they would line up all at the 2 hour mark, and it doesn't seem like that worked, because that would have went at now. We would have seen all 4 messages. All the message said was the schedule, how many YouTube videos are out, which actually needs to be updated again. Third one is our commands. The 4th one is what day of the 8 days we are in currently. And we got 0.3 science from collecting the vessel. So, right into the next thing. We are going to get this fuel rocket onto the space station. Was gone for a second, you already splashed into the ocean. Congrats. Thank you, Glow. Let's go all the way to the bottom here. We want refueler. And this should have more than enough thrust to get up. I'm not sure why I'm not seeing anything from here. Oh, because it's way up here on its own. Why is it up there on its own? That's not how this is supposed to be set up. I remember what we did that. We were testing this out to make sure it could get up into the space station. And I remember saying that I was going to put the engine in a different stage and then forget that it's in a different stage. And we did, in fact, forget that it was a different stage. So I'm going to put it back here and save this now. In this one, I want Jebediah, which it automatically does. It is quite impressive how you're getting a lot more advanced and comfortable with the game. Thank you, Glow. The YouTube videos helped me a lot. And then just testing out things before I try to do an entire mission helped. So we should be completing 2 things on the to-do list. We've already completed the very first one. It says manned landing. I actually can't read it well on OBS right now. It's very blurry. If I get stream elements open, I can change the to-do list. The second one should be the space station. We're definitely finishing that today. It is manned landing. We've done that. We landed on Mun at least once or twice. I just never took that off. So anyway, let's get this out there. It should already be rotated the correct way. It is corrected. Alright, I do not like taking off in nighttime. Where is the space station and the sun? That's the space station. Let's spend a little bit of time just trying to get into the sunlight as we take off. So that makes the space station do a full orbit. That's fine, because by the time we get out there, it should be closer to us. Now you gotta run. Have a great stream. Thank you, Glow. I will try my best. Anyway, let's take off. I do remember that we throttled down our solid fuel so that we're not going too high up with them. And we're about to have an ad. So while you guys are in ad, once it starts, I am going to put us in orbit and then pause the game. So nothing new so far. We're just getting to correct height, the correct degree. So I don't have to wait for prograde anymore. I'm just going to keep pulling over to the right. And this is where I want to be for the remainder of the flight. Don't like our heading though, so I'm going to try to fix our heading. That's better. There go to solid fuel, so we break them off. We have the next rocket turned on, and that is a max height of 75 kilometers. So if I go out here, and we do our usual maneuver, you guys might see me get in orbit. Never mind. So hello, anyone who is subscribed. I haven't looked at the subscriber list recently, but I do know we have 12 subscribers. So thank you, the 12 of you. This is now us time. And I think some of those 12 are gifted subs from someone recently. I forget who it was now. It was during our co-op stream on this past Sunday. Let's lock on the maneuver. We have a burn time in 20 seconds. I do not think we're going to make it over there in time. I also don't think that RCS is helping us get there. So our maneuver is going to be off a little bit. I'm just going to start burning now. It messes us up. I'll burn up a little tiny bit, but that's fine. So our lowest point should get up to 75 kilometers. And our highest point should get up to about 81. It's a 10-kilometer difference between the two. Alright, only about 30 seconds left. We've now passed our highest point. Now we're getting pretty close to us being in a positive number. So I'm going to start throttling down a little bit here. We are now positive numbers. And that's an orbit. We actually fixed it a little bit. It's 72 kilometers at the lowest point, 76 at the highest point. So that's pretty darn close to being circular. So what I'm going to do now, since we're looking at prograde, we might as well go to prograde. No, that's actually retrograde. Is that retrograde? No, it's not. I was right the first time. That is prograde. It's just the lines in the middle. Welcome back, everyone. We did just get into orbit. So what I'm going to do for the first time, since we haven't done that, is correct our stuff now compared to before an autosave. Or hard save, I mean. So we have a degree change of negative 3.1 or positive 3.1 if you look at the other side. So over here, I want to go normal. Make that number go up. So that is 0 there. Let's lock on that maneuver. I can go back to here. Welcome in, Sophie. I do see that our staging here is incorrect. So if I just do this, that should help us rotate. I'm not sure why I had this decoupler at the same stage, because this can't get all the way to the space station on its own. Sophie, we are adding on the last piece to our space station. And then it is complete. So that is 2 things, the first 2 things on the to-do list, completed. So I've yet to remove the first one. That's been completed for a while. How are you doing, Sophie? All right, and now that we are on the node, let's fast forward over to it. This will get us within 1 minute. And we're going to fast forward some more to get between 10 seconds of when we have to start our burn. It's a 5-second burn at full throttle, so I think I'm going to try that 5-second burn. Oh! I almost overshot it because I was looking at chat for a second. That's pretty close. I gave Gandalf, a guinea pig, a bath today, and he was so snuggly for like an hour. That is awesome. Yesterday, I laid down to go look at the kittens that are underneath my couch, and Mama came over to me, laid down right in front of me against my stomach because I was on my side, and fed the babies while leaning against me. He made a lot of happy noises and kept licking my hand, or your hand. I think he likes his little bath. He probably did. It is, and I didn't have my phone, so I couldn't take a selfie. It was so far away. At one point, my shirt was touching her ear just enough to make her ear twitch, like it was irritating her. So I moved my shirt off of her head, and then she moved her head against me more. So it's like she wanted me to touch her, but she didn't want my shirt irritating her ear in a way. No, I didn't strip her. I just moved that shirt off of her. Okay. What's the difference in this now? 0.1. That's still good. That's still normal what we've been doing. Next thing that we're going to do is get our capture. So we're going to do a lot of prograde to get to this. That is too much, so if I turn this down, we want this to stay close to 800 kilometers. That's pretty close. And it looks like these 2 icons need to get over here, so if I just move... Oh, that's the wrong icon. I'm going to have to delete this and start again. And since I know that it's way over there, I'm going to put the maneuver here. Turn this back up. 900 again. I'm gonna go a little bit up. We want pretty much 780. Okay, now if I click on the right thing, we can get those 2 orange icons together. Now it's over there. What? Oh, because the rocket is in front of us. We have to wait. Why don't I just speed up time a little bit here? Let's go a little bit faster. Alright. Now if I bring this closer, it should be just like that. If I right click on that, we get to see the numbers. We're going to try to make these... This number right here, it says 2.1 kilometers. We're going to try to make that as little as we can. So if I just do time change, can't really see it. 1.6, 4.3, so that's the closest we can get at that point. Can I do this and make the number change? Doesn't look like it. What about prograde? Prograde does get us closer until that point. What about radially in? No. Out is helping. And then it didn't help. So that got us to 1 kilometer of a separation. That is awesome. So now we are going to do a hard save. This is going to be not typing. There we go. Refueler in orbit. That's not how you spell fuel. There we go. Alright, let's get over there. So first we're going to lock on the maneuver. We should be able to use the RCS now. Or do I want to use that now? I mean, we do have a lot. Now we'll save it for later. Because it probably is going to use the electrical charge as we're getting closer. We're almost on the maneuver, so we're almost ready to start fast forwarding closer to the start time. I thought I heard her moving around, but she's not. Alright, fast forward now. We're going to do pretty much a full orbit around the globe. Alright, we are now within 1 minute. Let's do our usual within 10 seconds start. There we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Full throttle. We're gonna keep an eye on this. We need to get up to 781 kilometers. Now it's time to start throttling down because we're getting a little close too fast. So I'm just micromanaging the throttle. Try and get it as low as I can. So now it's gone pretty much 1 kilometer higher every second. We are now at 770 kilometers. Tiny bit more. There we go. That is a separation of heights of 7 meters. That is as close as I think I'm going to ever get that to being perfect. So our separation now went up by 500 meters. That's fine. That's actually relatively small compared to what it could be. Now I am going to lock us on retrograde compared to the target so that when we get up here, we can get into its orbit. So I'm going to wait until we get locked on the node just like usual. It'll take us a little bit of time. In the meantime, I am going to pour some water into my mug. Because it looks like this maneuver node's a little bit further away than I expected. There we go. We are now on the retrograde marker. I just close the cap so if I go to pick it up later when I'm not paying attention, I don't spill it all over myself for the 4th time on stream. For those that weren't here recently, I spilled water on myself for the 3rd time. First time we had a clip made, that was back when we were playing Sims 4 as John Hitman. Back when I was mixing lemon juice into the water so it had a flavor. And then recently, I did it twice. Once on my shirt, the other one onto my pants. So now, let's fast forward to right here. Then we'll zoom in and get closer to it again. This will give us time to readjust for where retrograde is. Although it is coming up to us. I'm gonna wait until we get to retrograde, and then I'm going to fast forward over here. Right, that's close enough. Warp to here. We shouldn't stray away from it very far. Now, if I go to this screen and we just wait, that should get to 1.5. I am going to start burning retrograde when it gets to 3 kilometers. Because we're just burning our speed here. If I just fast forward a little bit here. There you go, it's getting closer. It's at 6 kilometers away now. That's at 4. Let's start now. And all this should be doing is killing our speed compared to the space station. Oh. We start going a different direction. Anyway, I think this is good enough that we can use RCS to slow us down. No, that's not working. Okay, we'll just turn that off for now. I am going to stage, which breaks us off. And we need to lock this back onto the maneuver. And what I want to do is just go up right now. So let's get locked on the prograde vector. I actually don't know what's going on here with this. Alright, turn that off for now. We are going to rotate to this, not to that. We're actually close enough to get that. Wow. We need to look at orbit, turn this retrograde, and then shoot this back into the globe so that it burns up on re-entry. Where is the space station anyway? Oh, it's down there. Alright, let's send this rocket home. So if we look over here, that is not a negative number. That's going to crash land at some point. We're just going to burn up all of its fuel. And then switch back to this. Okay, now we want this to be on the maneuver. Why isn't it moving? It should be able to move, but it's not. Alright, we'll use RCS to get us over there. There is a low punny in chat, if anyone wants one. I think maybe this fuel is just too heavy. That the reaction wheel on this little guy can't really rotate it very well. We might want to restart this. With a reaction wheel and then launch it again. So I have a feeling we're going to be burning monopropellant the entire way to the space station here. Anyway, we're going to go into docking mode and we are going to push forward, which should bring this vector away from us. That should disappear and we should see another yellow circle appear. So right now it says we're slowing down, but that's because our direction of approach is changing. We were leaving the station, now we're going to it. So it'll take us a little bit of time, but we're getting there. And this is our launch site over here somewhere right there. So the space station is almost directly above where we launched from. And this is the island that the hangar is on. I'm forgetting what it's called. Abandoned hangar, that's it. It's gonna take us quite a while for us to slow down enough to go back to the space station. I'm actually not sure why the speed isn't changing anymore. Whoa, why are we going off of the vector? It is doing yaw and roll. Instead of... Something weird's happening there. And I don't know if we're getting closer or not. I mean, our speed is going up now. So we should see this change from 2 kilometers to something smaller. Soon, I hope. Oh, now I see prograde. So we are getting there. Do I need... Oh, I need to use the RCS stuff now. Okay, I kind of get it. I actually have to use 2 hands for once with this game. So I am trying to get that yellow circle into the pink circle on the globe in the center of the screen. But with us spinning, it's a little hard for me to line it up. But it's getting there. I think what would help is me slowing down as I'm doing this. Why is it rolling so much? Can I get it to stop rolling? It looks like I got it to stop rolling, but I have no idea if I really did or not. Anyway, as we slow down at this point, that yellow circle should be moving quicker. And now that I stopped the rocket from spinning, it's actually moving prograde a little bit quicker. we actually ran out of electrical charge. So maybe that's why things are spinning differently. Because we don't have any battery power for whatever uses battery power on this. Alright, it's still trying to get there. It's difficult. Okay, now we're going slow enough that it is moving easier now. So if I just stay here at 1 meter per second, almost, and I just speed up time. Occasionally we will stop speeding up time so that we can move prograde back to where it should be. Let's get back on the maneuver node. Once it figures out where it needs to be, we'll get that prograde vector back. I'm going to slow down again. And we're just working this back over. Shouldn't take too long now because we're almost at 0.5 meter per second. And now we are at 0.5 meter per second. There we go. That's lined up again. I'm going to slow us down even further. So that when we need to move prograde, it moves very fast. As you can see, I have to keep moving it. Yeah, maybe I should have sped us up. Speed-wise. Yeah, let's speed us up and get us to there faster. I think slowing down is not something I should do when I'm away from the space station. Let's go back up to 1 meter per second. Or I could go all the way back up to 3. Because as we get closer to 3, the yellow circle should stop moving as quickly as it is. So I won't have to correct for it very much. Okay, I'm going to stop at 1.5 for a moment and fast forward. Let's get this back. We're almost at 1 kilometer away. That time I know I heard a noise. Maybe it was mail? Who knows? Alright, time to fast forward again. And stop us because prograde almost went off the screen. I'm trying to pull it up, but it's not really moving. I hear it's starting to come. And we're at 1 meter per second. I didn't realize that we slowed down. That would explain why I went past this. If I were to control from here, would it change much? Not really, but we'll do it anyway. Because we're still moving at the same speed, we're just controlling from a different point. Okay, we're at 1 meter per second again. I'm gonna fast forward closer. Speed up while we're trying to get there. I can now see all the parts of the space station. Unfortunately, we're going into the dark side of the planet. So we're going to be docking this at night, and I can't turn lights on this part of the space station. So we're going to have fun trying to dock on it. I know the space station itself has lights, so we shouldn't be too far out bad. Go like this, readjust. That should be good enough for me to start moving prograde back. And it, for some reason, is targeting the thruster on the space station. Don't know why that is. I think it still considers that the main body. Alright, we almost have prograde where we need it. Alright, what I'm going to do from here is go to this. And I think I want the thruster on this side. So, I don't want to be using that. I do want to be on this, but I want to aim my camera over here. So that I'm still controlling the main throttle, or the main refueler. And that's us way over there. So we are aiming at the right thing. Or the right side of the space station. So I'm going to speed up time. We have to be within 100 meters before I can target this portion of the station. Which we are about to be within 100 meters. So let us readjust. We can now set that as the target. And reset camera to here. Alright, so what I want to do is move retrograde and also slow us down. Because we were coming in a little too hot here. Will I be able to slow down in time? I have no idea. I don't think we're gonna slow down enough. So I'm gonna keep trying to get us to the correct point on the space station, but I don't know if we're gonna be slow enough to get connection. We're definitely gonna hit it at least. Ever so slightly. Alright. I'm gonna let it just bounce around a little bit around this magnet. Should be fine. Alright, we're now attempting to connect with it. It'll wiggle about a little bit here and there. Or not. I need this to be on normal. Please tell me you can get locked on normal again. Well, there, that's connected now. Okay. So I can move around the people now. I transfer Jebediah here for a second. Transfer you to there. Click on this. There we go. Jebediah. And not crew report, that's not what I meant to do. Transfer you back to here. Okay, so we do now have everything connected in. We have about 2,000 meters per second of fuel. So we have quite a bit of fuel to get all the way over to where we're going. First place we're going to go to is Mun. So, what we're going to do now is go back to our space center. We're going to get our rocket with our plane set up and ready to launch. That is the very last piece to connect into the space station. Are you guys excited to see this finally end? We've been trying to get the space station set up for like 2 weeks now. We want the shuttle launcher. There's only one person left here, I think. Nope, there's 2 people. We are going to take Bill with us. No, we're gonna want someone here. I'm trying to think of this. We're just gonna take Valentina, and then she'll come back if we need to have another person here. Or should I take the engineer and have Valentina here to save him? We are going to take both of them up. Yeah, we'll keep him in the... Nah, we'll put him in the cockpit. He'll fly with her. That one thruster did not take very long to get up there. So I'm excited for this. Alright, start our turning. I'm going to be correcting our heading every now and then. And we're a little early, so I'm going to wait a few seconds. There we go. And then we're just going to chill out right here on this line until we get an orbit height. These should be breaking off soon. We saw the last time that they broke off that they hit us. So I'm hoping they don't do that again. I think it's because of the amount of fins that it has. It spins and hits us. I'm not sure. We're going to see what happens right now. Yeah, they do hit us. Huh. The only thing I can think of that would cause it to do that is the fins, so I don't know. Alright, we're at 70 kilometers now. I'm going to go to 75 like usual. There we go. And now let's make our orbit. Turn this up. Prograde. Well, that was a 75 kilometer orbit right there. 74 and 76. That is pretty darn close to being a perfect circle, as far as we've seen. Let's get onto that maneuver node. We should be able to get to it before the timer is ready. And we should be getting the music anytime soon. How high are we right now? Yeah, we're about to get the music. Alright, we're now within 10 seconds of our start time. And there's going to be 1 minute and 4 seconds total burn at full throttle. Forty seconds left. Thirty seconds. $20 seconds. And now we're within the last 10 seconds, so I'm going to start throttling down. Because we're within the last 100 kilometers difference. Alright, we're about to be positive numbers. We are now positive numbers. We are now above orbit capture or atmosphere capture. And that is now in orbit. So 74.5 to 76 is pretty darn close. So let's set this as our target. We'll change our degree right here. Actually, I want this centered a little bit better. That is not the thing I wanted to pull. There we go. So since it is a negative number on this side, we want to go normal to bring that down. Or I guess up. That is a 0.3 change. 0.1, that is 0. I don't see it anymore. There we go. So if we go over there and we do this specific burn for a whole 5 seconds, we should be able to get closer to the same orbit incline as the space station. So I'm gonna get ready to fast forward because we're getting pretty close to the maneuver, which should be on the normal vector. And then we're going to be fast forwarding about 2 minutes away. Right, that's close enough. All right, the last 50 seconds. And that's the last 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Full throttle, 5 seconds. Stop. Another 0.1 degree of change. All right, let's try and find where the space station's going to be when we get up there. So we want to go prograde here to get our highest point up to 779 kilometers. That's 746, we're getting close. 784 is a little too far out. I'll go to 781, that's pretty darn good. I just go like this. We should get those icons pretty close to each other. If I get you started on getting to the maneuver, I can look at these and change it. Three kilometers, 2.2, 4.4. You know, we'll go with 2.2 because we're almost at the burn time. All right, I am going to do a hard save right here. Because we're going to have to start burning right now. And I want to see this. Because we need to slow this down quite a bit. We're going to cut it when this gets up to 781 kilometers. That's 750 right now. 760. 770. 781. 82. We went a little bit too far, but that's fine. Alright, let's go to target here and retrograde. We can now take off the fairing. That'll help us spin a little bit easier. Once we get to retrograde compared to the space station, we will fast forward to over here. And then we'll get us slowing down compared to the space station. Right, that is close enough to warp over here. Should be behind us by the time we get over here. which it is. I'll let this rotate a little bit to get closer to the target. And then let's go to here. And the closest connection point is 1.4 kilometers. So where is it right now? We should be able to see the marker. Actually, if I press F4, now we should be able to see it. Where is it? Is it just too far away? If we look at the moon, we should see it. I think it's just too far away. So I'm going to fast forward now. I am getting worried that it's far away from us. Right, that is within 20 meters. There we go, now I can see it. I must have turned it off earlier. Alright, this time we're not going to go to 3 kilometers before I start burning. I'm going to do it now. We are getting a little bit of cracking effects. So I'm going to let us readjust to the retrograde marker. If I turn RCS on, that might help us. You know what? We're at 10 meters per second and it's getting closer to us. So we might want to just break off here. Because we're at a decent speed. I think we do it. Alright, so the plane breaks off. It's fine. I want to make a target this though so that we can see it. And I'm just going to let it float there. We're going to switch to this one. And compared to the orbit, we're going to turn this retrograde. Then we're going to send this home. Alright, we're pretty much aiming almost directly at Mun. Alright, full throttle, send it home. Alright, it's almost out of fuel, so it should be going straight down at this point. It's gonna do some weird switching around. There we go. So if we just switch back to the plane. And we turn this around. We should see that prograde is pretty much right on the target. It's a little bit off, but that's fine. I turn this on. Oh, not that one. I turn this on. We still, for some reason, get RCS not being this. Is it because of this? Do I have to press control to turn it? No. I'm not sure why it's different all of a sudden. But anyway. I'm going to use RCS to slow this down one. Yep, we are slowing down. Okay. So I'm just gonna sit here and hold control to slow us down until we get closer. Or as we get closer, I mean. Because I need to be able to move prograde over. And I am not sure if it is actually getting closer as I'm doing this. I think I'm holding prograde where it is. Because it's slowly going to the left, and I think if I let go of holding right, it's going to start going to the left a lot faster than it is. If I let off the fuel right now, it's not really moving. Okay. Let's just keep burning our speed as we're going to the right. Are we slowly spinning? No. Maybe? We are slowly spinning. I can see the lines on the ball is moving around as we're doing this. So if I just let go of turning right... Or maybe it's because we're going around the space station in a way that we're slowing down. Or spinning, I mean. Alright, we're below 8 meters per second. This is the point in the YouTube video that I would, you know, speed up. So you guys aren't just waiting here minutes for this. I definitely do need to fight prograde because it's starting to get away from us very fast now. If I let go of slowing down, am I able to get prograde to at least touch the orange line? I think it's about to touch the white line in the center. The 270-degree line. It does seem like we're slowing down as I'm doing this. Alright, I'm gonna go back to slowing down. We'll fix our prograde later. So it just seems like it's not really helping us. I think we're starting to slow down faster now. Seems like our meters per second are changing quicker. I'm not sure. We're also going to have a fun time trying to connect to the correct last spot on this space station. Now that there's only one option, we kind of have to go wherever it is. We're almost at 5 meters per second. Now we are at 5 meters per second. If I speed us to this. Would that help at all? No, that's taking us off. Definitely just want to be using this. No, I can't. This is annoying me that I can't move the prograde faster than I already am. And the closer we get to the space station, the more I'm worried about how fast we're going. And we are in ads. So, for anyone who is still here, we are going to keep playing to try and get us going to the space station. And I think the number is going up now. So what I'm going to do is actually speed us towards the target now. Because I think at this point it's technically behind us in terms of an orbit. Or in front of us, I mean. So I'm actually slowing us down by going to it. I just have no idea where the prograde marker is. Oh, I see it now. It's in the brown. I'm gonna flip the plane over. And prograde should be right here. I can see a little yellow spot. I'm really debating on just doing a short burst of fuel. There's a Jolteon in chat. That's Gen 1. Let me try and catch that. You know, let me check to see if I have it. I apparently have Jolteon already. Wow. I just do... That's probably not a good thing to do. Because now I have to slow us down more. I just want prograde to move faster. At least we're slowing down faster. Welcome back, everyone, from the ads. I messed up a little bit by giving us a short burst of fuel to get to the space station, thinking that it would bring prograde to the center of the circle a little bit quicker. And what it really did was just make more time for us to use to slow down. And I don't think there's a fast way to speed up how slowly we move. I don't know if that made sense. To speed up how fast we slow down. I'm trying my best to bring prograde over. I don't know if it's actually working. I see that it's disappearing off of the sphere. Is it in front of us at this point? I actually can't tell. So I'm just gonna keep trying to slow us down. I see that retrograde is in view. So which way is actually going to slow us down? That speed us up. Welcome in, Oz. If I fall asleep at 7 p.m., aiming for a nap. But not sure how long I sleep. Is it a nap? Or am I just going to bed early? It depends on when you wake up, I want to say. Oh, that sped us up. We want to go this way. Or do we? Oh, I'm still finding a way to slow us down. So, Oz, to catch you up to speed, we are bringing this plane as the final piece to the space station. And then I will be able to knock off the 2 top things on the to-do list in the bottom right corner of the screen. I'm just having a hard time slowing down and staying on this target. A yellow square that you might be able to see is the space station. Alright, can I use a different button to get us quicker? That's it slows the... Going backwards sped us up. So now I'm gonna just shoot forwards and hope that prograde comes into view somehow. Okay, all of that did not speed us up. I could do a short burst of rocket, but the last time we did that, we went back up to 6 meters per second. And I don't think that's going to help us in this fight. So I'm just going to keep trying. We'll get there eventually. Is it visibly in front of us at this point in orbit? It is a little bit noticeably in front of us. So we could do a short burst at this point, now that it is where it is. Alright, that did slow us down, but now we have prograde close to us. That our speed went back up. Which is a good thing, but, well, double-edged sword. Alright, I don't see us moving any different now. Can I use the keys on the keyboard to make us move slower? That's not changing anything. What about shift? Shift did not help. Okay. I mean, I could see the numbers going down, but I don't know in what way this is working for us. What if I do that and hold control? I think that's getting us to slow down faster. At least we're at 30 meters per second now compared to where we were before. And it looks like Bill and Valentina are loving it. That makes one of us. Or two of us. And I lost ProGrid. I have no idea where it is. Well, we gotta figure out which way is gonna make us slow down more. Oh, that was slowing us down. That's speeding us up. Do I want to do all three again? Is it this one? No, it's this way. For those that haven't been here the entire stream, the smaller we make the meters per second, the faster we can change where prograde is. I'm trying my best to figure out which direction we have to move. I'm not seeing anything change anymore. That sped us up, so we're going the wrong way there. If I go up and left, does that make us speed up or slow down? Making the change take longer, okay. What if I start going forward? That's speeding us up, okay. Okay, I can see where prograde is now. Prograde is almost straight below us on the ball. We should start seeing prograde moving up, because now we are getting within 1.5 meters per second and slowing down faster now. So it should mean that prograde is getting closer to us, the faster we slow down. I am also starting to get a little too hot. I might have to take off the flannel. I can see retrograde, which isn't a good thing. Yep, that means we're starting to speed up. So which way over here do I have to go to make this go smaller? Oh, that went up again. So I guess I'm just holding the up button. Yep, it's still going up. Alright, I am definitely too hot with this on. Might have to turn on the air conditioner before we raid out. Trying to push it off until after we raid. So I should still be seeing the numbers going down, but it seems like it's become stale. Maybe I want to pull down and go forward. This looks like the right thing now. Retrograde is going away. If I put retrograde on the north marker, that should mean prograde is coming from the south. We're at 0.5 meter per second. That's getting closer. Alright, now I'm not seeing any change. Oh, I see prograde. And here it is. We finally got it to work with us. Alright, now that it's here, I can go back to speeding up now. We're gonna go to 1 meter per second, or should I? Yeah, we'll do 1 first. Just trying to bring prograde back over. Alright, let's speed back up a little bit. Got a weird notification. Alright, this time I'm gonna go to 2 meters per second, I think. To try and make prograde move less. Right, that's 2 meters per second. And we slow down. Alright, just like usual, we're waiting for prograde to get over. Alright, time to start speeding up. This time I'm gonna go to 2.5, I think. Yeah, we'll stop at 2.5. Alright. Get locked on. Start slowing down and bring prograde over. Is prograde moving? It is. It just got onto the orange line. Okay. So as I'm slowing down, I am pulling to the left, and that should be getting us where we want to be. Did I just run out of monopropellant? Alright, we have a slight emergency. We now have to use the space station to connect with the plane. And I can't see... Okay, there we go. And now we can see where it is. Let me just ever so slowly get this moved around. Actually, I think I want to control from here. Oh, I don't have RCS. There we go, that would help. Alright, Glow, if you're still here, we're moving to space station. This ought to be fun. We are moving away from it. It's not what I want to be doing. Why are we rotating as I'm doing this? That's annoying me. Alright, I'm pretty much chasing prograde or retrograde. Which way do I want to be going to slow down? This doesn't make sense. I'm putting retrograde on me? Oh boy. I do have a lot of monopropellant, but I don't have enough for this. We might have to come back at the next stream and fix this. By restarting. Oh, that's bringing retrograde back up. Uh... I can't figure out what I'm doing wrong. We're getting more speed, but I don't know where prograde is right now. Going forward is apparently slowing us down. I can see prograde now. Coded, you would not believe how sexy my ramen smells. What does that even mean? What'd you put in your ramen? I'm curious now. I must know. Flicky, hello! I am having issues. I didn't answer you. I didn't see a message. Was it a message from a while ago? Oh, this is having a whole bunch of cracking effects. I can tell by the prograde vibrating. And now it's gone. Veggie ramen with soft-boiled egg, bell pepper, spring onion, nothing crazy. But it hits the spot. That honestly sounds... Oh, I did see that message. Hold on. That's something about the time zone. Let me go back up to your message. It was about tomorrow, I think, right? Yeah, community day tomorrow or 2 days. It is tomorrow. So I think we had an ad right after you asked. So I just completely forgot or something similar to that. So we have been streaming currently for 3.5 hours. I usually stream for 4 hours. And the time is not going to change for tomorrow's start time. So right now it is 3:30 for me. I start at 10 a.m. Not 3:30. Sorry, that was how many hours we've been working or streaming. Right now it's 1:30 for me. I start at 10 a.m. So whatever time that is for you, tomorrow is when we're going to be starting the community stream. If we don't have enough people to play certain games, we will be going on to Vintage Story until we have more people come into chat. And then we'll be playing then. Regus did say that he's going to join us a little bit into the stream because he works while I go live. So later in the stream, we'll have at least Regus joining us. I don't know if that answered your question or not. 10 a.m. EST is when we're starting the stream, but that may not be when we start the games. Then we'll be going until 2 p.m. EST, which is in 30 minutes. So 5 your time. Will not be able to join early then. Geese need to be put to sleep. That's okay. We might not be starting at the beginning of the stream, playing the community games. Okay, so we are slowly getting there. I'm gonna turn RCS off because it's doing weird things. And now I can see prograde. If I just turn that off and we speed up time here. What game, by the way? I need to make sure I have it. I don't know what we're going to be ending up playing. I know Goose Goose Duck is free, but it requires us to have 5 people. Peak is another community game that a lot of us have been playing, some of the streamers. That's not free, and I think only a few streamers have it that I know of, like, in the community that would play it. We also have Repo, which is, again, another game I think you have to pay for. I don't remember if it was free or not. So we might play that too. That's another thing. Is there a max for Peak? I think the max is 4 people. I mean, we haven't tried doing 5, but I think that's because we can't do 5 people. So I'm not sure. 4 without mods. Okay, that makes sense. Alright, I'm gonna go here. I need to be able to click on this, and I can't. I can't even see what a plane is, so we need to get closer to it. Alright, now I can see it. Aim camera. I want... not that. Let's switch to here, press 1, open. Control the ship from here if that helps. I can at least find the marker on my own with the movable portion without monopropellant. It's a tiny bit finicky though. Okay, lock you on. Go back to here. I want aim camera here. Right click on this. I want to set that as the target. And then I want to aim camera, reset camera. I should still be controlling from here, but just in case. Okay. So now we're going to turn RCS back on. We're going to lock on the maneuver. And I'm just going to do this for a little bit. Let's turn RCS off. We're going to speed up a little bit to get closer. I do kind of want to rotate this entire craft. Can I rotate to match the plane? Because I want all the thrusters facing the same way. Oh, this is very spongy. Alright, I have to do little movements then. The good thing about us running out of monopropellant is that we don't use it to get back to Kerbin if we need it later. Okay, that should be how we want to approach. I'm just going to get prograde back to where it should be. And turn this off. Let's get closer. So far, it looks like prograde is going where we want it. Alright, I'm going to stop. We're going to turn RCS back on because we're a little off from where we should be. Alright, and from here it's going to be a bunch of micromanagement. We are pretty darn close to it. And we're all 100% connected. So if I control from here... Oh, that's not what I wanted. Control from here. If we put this on normal... So, for those that know the game very well, my question is, what did I do wrong with this specific plane approach that made us run out of monopropellant? Because I have no idea what I did wrong there. Maybe I timed when we disengaged the main rocket to get up here wrong? I don't know. Because we're going too fast and I couldn't figure out how to slow down so we can get pointed the right direction, and things were going wrong. Now let's redirect it to the ocean like real International Space Station. We're not crash landing it anytime soon. What we do need to do is take a quick break, and then we're going to come back because I need to use the restroom. So let's pause here, and I'll be back in about a few minutes. Alright, we are back, and I also have a special guest with us. I scared her when I shake the treats. We have Mama again. Yeah. Who has a very big appetite. Kitty. Seems like she's eating half a treat and then leaving the other half. I don't know, that's just... it's currently happening. I don't know. Anyway, let's get back into here. What we can do now is do a hard save, but what I want to check is the science here. So we're still doing about 2.5 science per day. We're changing this 102 1/3 data into whatever amount of science it was. And then after that point, we are going to send it using the antennas back to Kerbin and be able to unlock more of the tech tree. Now, it is going to take quite a while to turn all this into science. And I don't remember what the rate is for this. Like, is it 1 data turns into 2 science, or is it 1 to 1? I don't know. But we're going to end up fast forwarding multiple orbits to speed this up. And before we do that, we're going to go into our to-do list, and we're going to take off the very first 2 things. Because we are done. So now we only have 3 things left. First one is very easy for us to do. We just have to go to Mun and land. And I think we will save that for the next stream. So what we're going to do for the rest of the stream is just keep this up. I am going to focus on this number. We're going to go here so that when we're orbiting, we're not getting a weird bug. Although now we can't see the thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a few orbits. If I keep my mouse here and I take one full orbit. Oh, wait. We should probably note how much is in here. 102 data. Put my cursor here. I'm going to fast forward until the plane comes back to the cursor. Yeah, right there. How much data do I have? I still have 1.2. But it took about 0.1 to do it. So if I have 218, how much do I have when we do another orbit? Okay, that's another orbit. So 218 went down to about 0.1. So going off of this, if it's 2.48 science per day, and we're using about 0.1 per orbit, which is also a day, I think. No, we're closer than a day. Orbit. What is our orbital period? Our period is 1.5 hours, so we need to do 4 orbits for 1 day to pass. Because a Kerbal day is 6 hours of this time in the game. So if we're at 1.5, we need to do 4 orbits in order for 1 day to have passed. So if we're doing 0.1 data conversion per orbit, that means we're doing about half a data per day into 2.5 science. Is that right in that math? Going off of estimations. So that means we're getting 5 science per data? I think that's about right. So what I'm going to do is a bunch of orbits here. Actually, I can look up here and see how many days we go by. That has been 11 days. We got 31 science, that's not too bad. Let's go to a full month. I don't know if 30 days is a month, though. That's 31 days. How much science do we have left? We still have quite a bit of data. I think we're doing okay. If I just go all the way to 60. How much do we have left? 76. So we're going to be doing this for a long time. That's what I think. Let's go to like a full year. What is a full year? That's 90. I know I still have science. A full year is not 100 days. I'm going to assume it's the same amount of days as our year. That's 56 science left. I'm going to go all the way up to 200 days. It's not going to hurt us if I spend too much time orbiting. All right, 38 science. We're getting closer. That took about 50 data from it, or not 50, 20 data, because we're at 50 and we went down to 30. I just saw something fly past us. A little question mark. And my right earbud just died on me. How much do we have left? 23. But look at the amount of science we have here. We are almost maxed out on our storage. We're going to have to send it out soon. Okay, let's see if it's 365. For a full year. That's not a year. What are these question marks that keep coming near us? There are asteroids that sometimes show up. Oh no, we're getting pretty close to being full here. We're almost done with the amount of data that we have, though. This is getting closer. Well, it's going past us, actually. We finally made it 2 years, so I think it's 400 days because I wasn't paying attention. Here's another question mark. All right, let's see how much we have. We're almost done. Oh, now we're down to 0.2 science per day. My mom just called and now I missed the kitty. Oh no. That's okay, she was only up here for a little bit. She scarfed down the treats. Why did we go down to 0.2 science instead of staying at a rate of 2.5? Is there like a time period that can only be that efficient for? We still have Sambus and Bob in there. Oh, no chat. Not what I wanted. Let's speed up for a while. So for about a year and a quarter now, or a year and a half, we have been in the space station just doing science. We have 4 data left and we're almost maxed out. I am going to transmit what we have. And it is going to take quite a lot of our battery, I think. I mean, we're actually recharging fast enough that it's not making a dent in our electric. It does say level up crew as one of the bottom 2 buttons I can click on. But our crew is fully maxed, so I don't think I can level them up. Have fun lurking, Gino. Depending on when you come back, we might be rated out. Oh. Oh, that was unlurk. I thought that was lurk. My bad. Alright, we're almost at 100% of the data being uploaded. And we just transferred it all. So if I take a screenshot right now where I can see 491 science has been added. We'll save that as a screenshot for later. I'm gonna do this level up crew thing. No astronauts on board are ready to gain experience. That's what I assumed. But then why is there so much here? Or it's so little rate? I don't know what this does. Also gonna sneeze. Good thing I caught that just in time. I also don't know what clean experiments does, but either way, we are going to fast forward quite a while to try and finish this. Thank you, Gino. I'm gonna go into the next year, and my headphone just fully died, so I can't hear anything right now. But with us doing so little science per day, I think we need to go all the way up to second year. What is this? It said view and tracking stations. I'm trying. I mean, we can see its orbit for a second there. We can't tell what it is. No idea. So, while everyone else is in the ads, we're going to continue getting this science done. We're back up to 2. No, we have 2.5 data left. Alright, let's keep going. That's not what I want to be looking at. Hold on. There we go. So we're not spinning with it. So do we get to 2 years at 400? No. It's more than 400. It's like 420 something? How much do we have now? We have 1.2 data left. We're getting close to finishing it out. Alright, 2 years, 200 days. We're at 0.611 data left. Let's go another 100 days. There's a Pat rat in chat if anyone wants a rat. It's 2 years, 300 days. It seems like we have more to do. I'm gonna clean experiments and see what that does. Oh, that's like fixing up the science stuff here. So I just redid the Science Junior. That's cool. Welcome back, everyone, from the ads. What we just found out is that when I do clean experiments from here, it cleans out the goo and the Science Junior. It reset them. I can redo them. I don't have to do an EVA to go out and look at them. This is all monochrome. So that's the goo. Yep. And the goo's reset. Did not. Does the space station have a name? It does not currently have a name because I can't remember how to rename things. And I wrote it down somewhere. Don't know where I wrote it down. And no one has answered the question. And I haven't looked at Google yet. Do you know how to rename a station? Because I thought you click on like the main command thing, and then somewhere there would be a button for it, or one of these things has a rename thing on it. Or if I go into the tracking station, look at all of our current things in orbits, it would be there. I don't know. Wait a minute. Vessel name, confirm. Oh my god, it was right there. I saw it at the last second. Alright, chat. Since the space station is complete, we're not adding more to it. If anything, we'll be replacing things, like adding more, like taking this fuel off, bringing in more fuel. The same thing with the plane, taking it back and bringing it back up here. It is now up to you guys what we're going to name it. There is, and should be, a redeem for naming things. So if I take a look, it is the 1,000 point redeem. Babylon 3.5? Okay. You were the first person. So it is the command module, whatever you are piloting. And then it says vessel name. And down here you configure it. So you can change the icons, which is what I was trying to do on something else. So we're gonna have to go find something and change the icon. I think there's a few things that are debris and I want to change them as a lander. I think that's what it is. So we want Babylon 3.5. Now hopefully that's not going to reset this name of the plane. But if it does, oh well. So it does have the name here. I started rewatching Babylon 5 and now I'm hungry. So that's all my brain could do. That's okay. But why 3.5? That's the real question. Alright, you know, why do I still have the earbuds in my ears if they're dead? Not like it's gonna help me. Alright, now, an issue that we have here for the space station is when you connect things that require fuel, it splits the fuel between all the parts. So this is the plane rockets right here. And this is the rocket at the bottom. This is the entire amount of fuel that we have on the station. So ignore these two, it's the same amount of fuel for all three of them. These will go down equally. I am confused on why it's up here though. So what I should be doing is this and bringing this down here. But apparently this is going to go out and then we use the plane, and that's not what I want to do. I want a way for us to not drain out fuel from the plane. I don't know if there is a way to do that. What I'm going to do is spend another 100 days to see if we can go lower than 377 on our data. Let's go back out here. We're going to speed up time until we get another 100 days taken care of. I remember what we were changing the names for On the moons, we have different rockets that are sent there that are set as like monoliths. We were going to either rename it or just redo the icon for it. Alright, that's 2 years, 400 days. We are going lower, it's 0.231, but the amount of science we're getting for the rate is going down as well. And I don't know what makes the rate change. So I'm just gonna keep going with this. I do want to find out what the year is, and I think it's like 425 or it's 450. That's 424. It's not 425. It's 426. 426 days is 1 year in Kerbin. Alright, we're going all the way to 3 years, 100 days. It should be a little bit more than 100 days total. I think that was like 150 days. And we have 0.125. We have an eighth of a science. Or eighth of a data. Alright, I'm going to take this all the way up to 3 years, 300 days. That should be all the data taken care of. If not, there's going to be a little bit left over and we have to do another 200 days. But our rate fraction is getting so low that I'm not sure how many more years we're going to have to spend on this. Right. 3 years, 300 days. How much data do we still have left? Less than half. So we went from 125 to 48. That's about 40 per 100 years. Okay. Let's go to 4 years, 100 days. That'll be a little bit more than 200 days spent. At 3 years, 400 days. That's 4 years. Now at 4 years, 50 days. Four years, 100 days. 0.16. 0.016, I mean. Because the fraction is getting so minuscule. We went from 40 to 16. It's 30 science, or 30 per 200 years. Maybe another 200 years and we're done? Or 200 days, I mean. We'll go all the way up to 4 years, 300 days. We get more science than we have data. That's why I'm trying to make sure to get all the data. Because even though it may be less than 1 science for the rest of that data, it'll still be more than how much data we have. I just don't remember the conversion rate. If it's like 1 data... No, we did a slight estimation math. It was like 5 times the science that we get from the data. That's 4 years, 300 days. .6. Alright, let's go to 5 years then. I also don't remember when I took off the crown. I guess for when I used the restroom earlier. Alright, we are almost at 5 years. There we go, 5 years, 2 days. .3. Alright, I think at this point it's going to be continuing forever. Thank you, Regis, for the points. I am stealing them. It is Whopper Wednesday. So you're not getting those points back. Okay, we are going to transfer this little bit of science. It's going to take a few seconds to upload the data to the antenna, and then a few seconds just to transmit it. Kind of make it legal. And Gino got Mega first. More than one person can be Mega first, Regis. If that's what you said dang to. Only one person could be first, but multiple people can be Mega first. Alright, so this is what we're going to call the stream. We made the space station. We also updated the to-do list, so now there's only 3 things left. And those 3 things should be done fairly quickly. The first thing is to bring this space station to Mun. Just have it orbiting around Mun. And we also need to do science on Mun. And then come back. So I think we are actually going to need some monopropellant on the plane. And we don't have any on the plane. When we leave, we're probably taking monopropellant from the space station. So we're going to figure out what we're going to do on Saturday. So, what our plans are for tomorrow. Well, first, let's save this as full space station. We are going to go to the Space Center and marvel in the hundreds of science we have. Once it loads. 523.2 science. What can we unlock with that? Because I think a lot of these are 300. Yeah. So we didn't get a lot of science from going around Kerbin. We can unlock one thing in here. So what are these things? Infrared telescope, scanning module, survey scanner. Fluid spectro variometer. Over here. Communication stuff. Seismic accelerometer. This is a new science thing. Magnetometer boom. Or we can go into an actual space shuttle thing. That's a cargo ramp. That's cool. This is another type of plane. Adapter long. We have fuel. Or no, these are just girders and a docking port. Shielded docking port. Okay. This is more fuel and a decoupler. That's probably just bigger fuel. And we can't do any of this because we're shy of 550. So it looks like we won't be completing the tech tree before we get to Duna. But it's here for us if we come back. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to catch me live, I stream on Twitch on Wednesdays and Fridays from 10 AM EST to 12:30 PM EST, and on Sundays from 10 AM EST to 2 PM EST.